Hello, my friends, and welcome to English Freedom. I hope you are having a good day and ready to learn something amazing. Today, we will learn about Albert Einstein. Do you know this name? Einstein was a very smart man. He was a scientist. A scientist is a person who studies how things work. Einstein changed how we think about our world. Listen carefully today. I will speak slowly. I will repeat important words. When you hear a new word, try to remember it. Are you ready? Let's start. Part 1. Baby Einstein. Albert Einstein was born a long time ago. He was born in 1879. That's more than 140 years ago. He was born in Germany. Germany is a country in Europe. His father's name was Hermann. His mother's name was Pauline. They were normal people. Hermann worked with machines. Pauline loved music and books. When Albert was a baby, his head was very big. His family was worried. They thought, "Is our baby okay?" But Albert was fine. He was just different. Albert was different. Albert was a very quiet child. Most babies talk when they are 1 year old, but Albert did not talk until he was 3 years old. His parents were worried again. They thought something was wrong. Other children talked a lot, but Albert was always quiet. His family called him the quiet boy. But Albert was not slow. He was thinking. He was always thinking about many things. New word. Quiet means not making noise. Did you hear that? Albert was quiet because he was thinking. Sometimes quiet people are very smart. Part 2. The magic compass. When Albert was 5 years old, something important happened. His father gave him a present. What was the present? It was a compass. Do you know what a compass is? A compass is a small thing that shows direction. It has a needle that always points north. North is a direction. Albert looked at the compass. He turned it left. He turned it right. But the needle always pointed the same way. Albert thought, how does this work? Why does the needle always point north? Albert looked at the compass for hours. He wanted to understand it. He knew there was something invisible making the needle move. Invisible means you cannot see it. The compass was magic to Albert. This compass changed Albert's life. He started to think about invisible things. He wanted to learn about forces we cannot see. This was the beginning of his love for science. When Albert started school, he had problems. In those days, schools were very strict. Students had to memorize everything. Memorize means to remember exactly. But Albert did not like to memorize. He liked to ask questions. He wanted to understand, not just remember. His teachers did not like this. One teacher said to Albert, "You are a bad student. You will never be successful." These words made Albert sad, but Albert did not give up. Albert had trouble with some subjects. He did not like languages very much, but he loved mathematics. Mathematics is about numbers. Albert called mathematics the language of the world. New word. Mathematics. The study of numbers. Albert's mother saw that he was sad at school. She wanted to help him. She taught him to play the violin. A violin is a musical instrument. At first, Albert did not like it, but later, music helped him think better. Albert's uncle Jacob also helped him. Jacob loved mathematics too. He made mathematics fun for Albert. He said, "Mathematics is like a game. Every problem is a puzzle to solve." Mathematics is like a game. Part 4. A different kind of child. Albert was not like other children. While other kids played games, Albert read books. He loved books about science and great scientists. Albert spent many hours alone, thinking. He imagined how things worked. He asked himself many questions. One day, he asked himself a very important question. What would happen if I could ride on a beam of light? New word, imagine. To think about something that is not real. This question stayed in Albert's mind for many years. It helped him make great discoveries later in his life. When Albert was 15 years old, his life became difficult. His father's business failed. This means his father could not make money anymore. The family had to move to Italy. Italy is another country in Europe. Albert stayed in Germany to finish school, but he was very unhappy. He missed his family. He did not like being alone. Finally, Albert made a big decision. He left school without finishing. Many people thought this was a bad idea. They said, "Albert, you are making a mistake." But Albert did not care. He decided to teach himself. He read many books about science and mathematics. He learned by himself. Albert taught himself. At 16 years old, Albert wrote his first science paper. It was not perfect, but it showed he was very smart. He also tried to get into a good school in Switzerland. Switzerland is a country near Germany. The school was called the Swiss Federal Polytechnic. It was a very good school for science. But Albert failed the test. He was not good at some subjects like French and history. Did Albert give up? No, he tried again. He worked very hard. He studied the subjects he was weak in. Finally, he passed the test and got into the school. Albert never gave up. Part 6. Love and Learning. At the school in Switzerland, Albert met a young woman named Mileva. She was also studying physics. Physics is the science of how things move and work. Mileva was the only woman in their physics class. In those days, it was very unusual for women to study science, but Mileva was very smart. Albert and Mileva became friends. They talked about science for many hours. They had the same interests. They both loved to learn and discover new things. Albert wrote to Mileva, "Together we can learn all the secrets of science." They inspired each other. To inspire means to make someone feel excited about something. New word, inspire. To make someone feel excited to do something. In 1900, Albert finished school. He was 21 years old. He was excited to become a scientist, but he had a problem. He could not find a job. Albert applied to many universities. He wanted to be a teacher or researcher, but every university said no. This was very hard for Albert. He had worked so hard, but no one wanted to hire him. Albert could not find a job. In 1902, Albert finally got a job, but it was not as a scientist. He worked at a patent office. A patent office is a place where people bring their new inventions. Albert's job was to look at these inventions and decide if they were really new. It was not exciting work. Albert wanted to be a scientist, not an office worker. But Albert was smart. He used this job to help his science. During his free time at work, he thought about his science ideas. He called the patent office his thinking place. New word, invention, something new that someone makes. In 1903, Albert married Mileva. They had a simple wedding. Soon, they had a baby boy named Hans Albert. Albert was happy to be a father. Life was not easy for Albert's family. He did not make much money at the patent office. They lived in a small apartment. Sometimes they did not have enough money for food. Albert's friends told him, "Give up science, focus on your job, make more money." But Albert said, No, I would rather be poor and do what I love than be rich and unhappy. Albert chose love over money. In 1905, something amazing happened. Albert was 26 years old. He published several scientific papers that changed the world forever. Scientists call 1905 Einstein's miracle year. What did Albert discover? Let me tell you about 3 important things. First discovery, Albert explained how light works. He said light is made of tiny pieces called photons. This discovery later won him the Nobel Prize. Second discovery, Albert proved that atoms exist. Atoms are very, very small pieces that make up everything around us. Third discovery, this was Albert's most famous idea. He created the theory of relativity. This theory says that time and space can change. From this theory came the famous equation E equals mc squared. New word, theory, an idea that explains how something works. These discoveries shocked the science world. Albert Einstein, a simple office worker, had just changed how we understand our universe. Albert changed the world. Part 9. Fame and Challenges. After 1905, Albert's life changed completely. Scientists around the world heard about his work. Universities began to offer him jobs. Finally, Albert could work as a real scientist. Albert became a professor. He taught at universities in Switzerland, Germany, and other countries. People called him a genius. A genius is a person who is extremely smart. But Albert stayed humble. Humble means not thinking you are better than others. He said, "I am not a genius. I am just very curious. I ask questions longer than other people." New word, humble, not thinking you are better than others. In 1914, Albert moved to Berlin in Germany. He got a very good job there, but soon World War I started. This was a terrible war that killed millions of people. Many scientists supported the war, but Albert did not. He believed in peace. He used his fame to speak against war. This made some people angry with him. During this time, Albert's marriage to Mileva became difficult. Fame and money problems caused trouble between them. In 1919, they got divorced. Albert believed in peace. Part 10. Worldwide Recognition. In 1919, something incredible happened. Other scientists tested Albert's theory about gravity. Gravity is the force that makes things fall down. Albert had said that gravity could bend light. Many people thought this was impossible, but the test proved Albert was right. The news spread around the world. Newspapers wrote big headlines. Einstein's theory is true. For the first time in history, a scientist became famous like a movie star. People everywhere wanted to meet Albert Einstein. He traveled to many countries. He went to America, Japan, and other places. He gave talks and met other scientists. New word, incredible, very hard to believe, but true. Albert used his fame to help others. He spoke about peace and helped refugees. Refugees are people who have to leave their home country because of danger. But not everyone liked Albert. Some people criticized him because he was Jewish. In those days, many people did not like Jewish people. Albert once said, "If my theories are wrong, people will say I am just a German. If my theories are right, people will say I am a Jew." This showed how people treated him differently because of his religion. Albert helped many people. In 1933, something terrible happened in Germany. The Nazi Party came to power. The Nazis hated Jewish people. They wanted to hurt them. Albert was Jewish, so he was in great danger. The Nazis burned his books. They said his science was bad because he was Jewish. Albert had to leave Germany quickly. Albert moved to America. He went to Princeton, New Jersey. He worked at the Institute for Advanced Study. He was sad to leave Europe, but he was safe in America. In 1940, Albert became an American citizen. He lived in America for the rest of his life. New word: citizen, a person who belongs to a country. During World War II, Albert helped America. His famous equation, E equals mc squared, helped scientists understand nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is very powerful energy from atoms. Scientists used this knowledge to make atomic bombs. These bombs were very powerful and dangerous. When the bombs were used in Japan, Albert was very sad. He did not want his science to hurt people. After the war, Albert worked for peace. He said countries should not make nuclear weapons. He wanted nuclear energy to help people, not hurt them. Albert wanted peace for everyone. Even though Albert was the most famous scientist in the world, he lived a very simple life. He did not care about money or fancy things. Albert wore old clothes. He did not own a car. He did not even wear socks. He liked to go sailing on a small boat, even though he could not swim. Albert continued to ask questions about the universe until he was very old. He wondered about black holes, time travel, and other mysteries. He tried to find one big theory that would explain everything in the universe. This was very difficult. Even today, scientists are still trying to solve this puzzle. New word: mystery, something we do not understand. Albert worked until the day he died. On April 18, 1955, Albert Einstein died at age 76. His last words were in German, and no one wrote them down. Albert worked until he died. Conclusion: what we can learn. Albert Einstein's story teaches us many important things. First, never give up on your dreams. Albert faced many rejections and failures, but he kept trying. Second, be curious. Albert always asked questions. He wanted to understand how everything worked. Third, stay humble. Even when Albert became famous, he remained a simple, kind person. Fourth, use your talents to help others. Albert used his fame to promote peace and help refugees. Fifth, learning never stops. Albert studied and learned new things his whole life. Albert Einstein once said, "Try not to become a person of success, but rather try to become a person of value." This means it is better to be a good person than just a successful person. Be a person of value. Practice questions. Now let's check what you learned today. Can you answer these questions? 1. Where was Albert Einstein born? 2. What gift did his father give him when he was 5 years old? 3. What subject did Albert love most in school? 4. What was Albert's job before he became a famous scientist? 5. What year did Albert publish his most important theories? Think about these questions. Did you understand the story? Your turn to practice. Now it's your turn to practice. Here are some things you can do. Speaking practice. Tell someone else about Albert Einstein. Use simple words like we did today. Writing practice. Write 3 sentences about what you learned today. Listening practice. Listen to this story again tomorrow. You will understand more words the second time. Question practice. Ask yourself questions about other famous people. What made them special? Final message. Congratulations! You have finished learning about Albert Einstein in English. You did a great job listening to this long story. Remember, Albert Einstein started as a quiet child who asked questions. He became one of the most important people in history because he never stopped learning and never gave up. You are learning English right now. Sometimes it might be difficult, but remember Albert's story. Keep trying, keep practicing, and never give up on your dreams.